Hi, everybody. It's Monique, obviously, Majik Eek here. And Sally, why don't you start with introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is Sally Schaeffer. I'm the Senior Director of the Sudep Institute, a program within the Epilepsy Foundation. Do you good ladies want me to talk a little bit about what Sudep is?
Yeah, that'd be a great way to start. Yeah, let's do it.
It's an acronym not many people have heard of, sadly, and certainly not meant to scare anyone living with epilepsy at all, but more to empower you and strengthen people who don't know about this and can help others or help themselves. So SUDEP stands for Sudden Unexpected Death in Epilepsy. So that is what the acronym stands for. And what I do is bring awareness and education around this so that more people know about it, more people are aware of it, more people can help people living with epilepsy, and people that have epilepsy can talk to their medical professionals about it, because unfortunately, not many medical professionals are mentioning it to their patients. So we want to empower people, strengthen them, give them that info, because I believe knowledge is power, right? I always say, hey, if you're going to go buy a new car, you're going to look into this car, make sure you're getting a good car, right? Or if you're going to go buy a new iPhone or some technology piece, you're going to start researching a little bit and know if you're getting a good product. And that often makes people feel better, right? Okay, I've researched it. I know, now I can go buy it. And I don't think that's any different than with your health, right? Right. You need to know about that. And even scary things like this, you do need to know about. So that's my job. The other part of my job is to support research to end it, because the goal is that I'm out of a job because no one else suffers from SUDEP.
So. That's all of our goal, right?
Yes, that's all of our goal for all of the epilepsy.
All nonprofits, healthcare. Yeah, that's our goal.
Yes, most definitely. That's actually, like, when I was interviewing for this job almost 3 years ago, that was kind of a requirement. They said, like, the goal is that you're out of a job. And I said, absolutely, absolutely. So I know it's a little long-winded. Sorry.
No, that's good. I think we'll start playing in a minute, but in terms of SUDEP, I wanted to ask you, can SUDEP be prevented?
So they don't know what causes SUDEP right now. They're looking at multiple factors, like, is it cardiac, meaning your heart? Is it respiratory? Is it brain related? Or is it like this quiet storm of all of them? But there are some things that we talk to people living with epilepsy to say, hey, let's reduce your risk, okay? So I don't know if you want me to get into that a little bit, or we want to wait for that. But as far as prevention goes, I can't say for sure, yes, we have this, but we can help people greatly reduce their risk because they know about it and they can take certain steps to reduce that risk.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I could just keep asking you a ton of questions, but I think we can just pause for a second, and Sarah and I can try to play this game and continue to kind of just chat, and maybe just get to know you a little bit more, Sally.
Sure.
So where are you right now? Where are you in the world of the US? Where do you live?
Well, I live in the Midwest. I'm a Midwestern gal.
Midwest, nice.
have lived here all of my life. It is nice, except for the weather.
Yes.
I don't like winter anymore. I really don't. It's too cold, so I would love to escape somewhere warm someday. But for right now, my family and I live in the Midwest, and specifically, we live in Wisconsin. And I know
you do live in Wisconsin?
I do.
What? I'm from Wisconsin. I had no idea.
Shut up. Where are you from?
I'm from West Bend.
Oh my God. So I live, you're going to know, I live near, about 45 minutes south of Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Small world. I just moved to DC. Sorry guys, we're getting off on a tangent here.
I know, but still. I live in Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin.
Yes.
And I know,
like Racine area, Kenosha.
Yeah. So I'm about 30 minutes from Kenosha.
Got it. Okay. So like right on the border, Illinois.
I'm 10 minutes from the border.
Right. Yeah, that's what I figured. So you go to Gurney Mills.
No, I don't go there often.
You don't?
No, not often. And well, we like going down to Chicago. We did
sure.
Because that is fun. And we can go
practically Canadian.
What?
Oh, hey, Breezy Bear. Oh, Jeff said that you're practically Canadian. Thanks, Jeff. We'll take that as a compliment.
So I did over Labor Day go up to Mackinac Island in Michigan.
Oh, so pretty.
Way up there. So yeah, it was way, way up there, but
I love it. I love it. Oh, Sarah, so we're playing Broken Picturephone, guys. Sarah, SuskiePlays, brought this to our attention. It sounds like a good like quarantine Zoom with your friends game too. So let us know what you think. It's just going to be two of us to start. Sally wanted to be able to focus too on talking about Sudep and making sure that, because I'm also a bad drawer, but I'm just putting myself out there, making sure that she would feel comfortable playing with it. So we'll just kind of keep chatting.
I can be a perfectionist, and that's the problem.
Yes, and that's fair.
I would not talk, and I would be wanting to do my best at drawing, which I suck at. So
I totally get you. I totally get it. I've just given up on trying generally. So it's 2020. Whatever.
You're done.
I'm done. It's over. It's over. Okay. So Sarah, tell me what we have to do to get started. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is terrifying. Oh, your sound. Oh, technology. It's all good. So Sally, you said you're in, have you always been from Wisconsin? Did you grow up anywhere else?
No, I've always been from the
Wisconsin?
Midwest.
Yeah.
Yes. So
gosh, that's
Midwestern
so crazy to me.
Who I get made fun of all the time for saying certain words. Like I've heard I say Wisconsin funny.
Yes.
I've heard I draw that consonant out. I've heard I say the word BAG funny.
Bag.
Yeah, like bag. That's what people say. So
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's okay though. We embrace it. I feel like every chat so far that we've done, I've talked about Wisconsin.
That's funny. When did you move?
Nice.
When did you move?
Like a year ago, a year and a half ago, because my partner got into med school here in DC, or not med school, sorry, residency at Georgetown. So
awesome.
Yeah. So
do you go back home?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm obviously being careful right now. It's a little scary. But yeah, so I think I will have some plans in the future to make it my way back there. But
good.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Sally,
I've been from the Midwest, but this role certainly before COVID had me traveling all over the country to speak about Sudep and meet with people and do all sorts of kind of in-person engagements to talk about Sudep. So I think last year I was on the road almost 50% of the time, some months, to really bring this message to people.
Right. I mean, you have kind of become the resident Sudep expert, as well as someone who really has powerful stories to share of ways that we've been able to help, your own personal story. So, I mean, you are such an invaluable resource to us. So I'm so glad that you're doing this with us so you can share your knowledge and everything that you have to offer with everybody.
It's fun. It's fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So Sarah, is your sound working now? Just checking in.
Let's see. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear Kim?
Yay! It's this headset, I swear. I'm having the worst trouble with this headset. And like every time I start a new program, I have to reset this headset with the computer and all the settings. And anyway, yay, glad you can hear me now.
Yay!
So basically,
let's play Broken Picturephone.
Basically what we do, and Monique, you cannot look at my screen.
I'm not looking, I promise.
One of us draws a picture on one book, the other draws a picture on the other book, and then we switch books, and we have to try to continue the story based on what we think is happening in the other person's drawing.
Got it. Okay. So yes, like telephone, Pictionary, everything together. Okay. All right.
And
so
it doesn't
first
look like
are we drawing?
Yes.
Or are we writing? We're drawing.
Yeah, we're drawing.
Okay.
So looks like we can come up with anything we want to draw.
Oh my gosh.
And kind of just create a story from it. So let's see.
So you guys are going to see we're starting, right?
Yes.
Okay. You guys are going to see my like kindergarten level drawing skills. Pretty disastrous. I think right now you're seeing Sarah. I'm not looking at it. So don't cheat. Do not say in the chat what it is, please. I want to learn on my merit and my skill, not by cheating. Oh my gosh. Sally, maybe you were right not to believe this. I'm doing such a bad job. This is awful. She's probably just gonna know, but whatever. Oh, and you can change.
I'm just gonna drink my caffeinated water and sit back and watch you girls. Look at how serious Sarah's face is. She's like,
I'm serious.
I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna do it. See, that would be me. I would be too serious.
The issue is I'm not a good drawer, so this is gonna be.
No, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. So Sally, when did you start at the foundation?
So it'll be 3 years in January. January 2018. January 8th is when I started. It was.
I thought you were here like at least 20. Like it it feels like you've been here much longer.
It's so funny because I called the Epilepsy Foundation of Pennsylvania yesterday, and I think their administrative assistant answered the phone, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm Sally Schaeffer. Oh, we know who you are. We know who you are. It was so fun. I was like, yeah, it felt good. It felt good. So yeah, because we have chapters and affiliates all over the country. So for someone that's answering the phone to remember and know me, that feels like my message and what I do is resonating. So it felt good.
Right. So for the people watching, you support a lot of our networks and affiliates with Sudep materials, resources.
I support all of them. Not many, everybody. But like all of them around the country.
And our partners too, right? You help with our partners.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Partners across the pond, like in the UK, I partner with them. Sudep Action out of the UK actually developed Sudep Action Days. So when that comes around, I work with them on messaging and things like that. So yeah, we definitely want to partner with people all over, only because it's not going to be, it probably is not going to be one person that figures out what Sudep is. So we all need to work together, and that's really important to me. That's kind of been part of my mission and vision when I started, was to just partner with others.
Okay, pause on that. So now we put in what we think it is.
Well, so generally we start with a story, but I couldn't come up with a story. So like mine's kind of,
Oh, okay. It was supposed to be a story, not just one thing. I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay. We can do it that way still. So now I can guess what
mine
it is.
It's appearing on the screen. Can you guys guess what it is?
Let's see. I'm going to go with a big old.
Yeah, I was going to say, all it's missing is a sword.
Yes.
We did it!
We did it! Yay!
Kind of failed also. Sorry.
So now we present.
Oh my God, yes. This is what it is. Sally, do you see this? Do you see how crappy my drawing is?
I don't get to see it.
Oh, that's right. You're on the Twitch. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no, I don't get to see it. But I would love to see an after picture, please.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay. This is recording too, so you can see all the embarrassing things. So Sally, I just want to backtrack a little bit. I know at the beginning you talked about what Sudep is. Could you talk about, like, is there any data on how many people have dealt with Sudep or deal with Sudep in a year? Is there any data about who is more affected by Sudep than others? Just so people get a picture on who is affected by Sudep and if there are specific audiences or not.
Absolutely. So people with epilepsy that have uncontrolled seizures are at higher risk.
Okay.
This gets tough, right? Okay, so this is like heavy information, but it doesn't have to be, because I would love to talk about, I think we touched on it earlier about, how can we reduce risk, how to prevent it, things like that. You asked that question, but so I want to talk about the heavy stuff first, and then let's talk about reducing risk. So people with uncontrolled seizures are at higher risk. People, about 1 in 1,000 people with epilepsy will die from Sudep. So
1 in 1,000, you said.
1 in 1,000
will die of Sudep.
People with epilepsy.
With epilepsy, more likely uncontrolled. Okay.
And if it's uncontrolled, if they have seizures during the night, if they have nocturnal seizures, that puts them at higher risk too.
Okay.
So let's talk about, you know, some of the things that we can help reduce the risk.
Right.
So anyone, whether you're young or old, if you're on medications, you have to take that regularly. So if regularly is at 8 a.m. and 9 p.m., you have to take that regularly, which means you have to get good sleep. So I know some people think, okay, well, if I go to bed at 2 a.m. this morning and, you know, in the middle of the night or in the morning, and then I sleep till like 2 p.m., I'm getting good sleep. I'm sleeping 12 hours, but they're not in their regular pattern. And so that's really important, because in that sleep schedule, you're going to miss your meds. And yes, you might take it when you get up, but it needs to be regular.
Right.
So that's really important, is taking those medications regularly, getting good sleep and a solid sleep structure, you know. The other thing is going to see your doctor regularly and finding out, like, is the dosage correct? Am I taking the right amount of dosage? Also reducing any triggers for seizures. So if stress is your trigger, if lack of sleep is your trigger, you know, whatever those triggers you want to reduce, because the whole goal is to reduce the number of seizures that someone has, so that it can reduce their risk. And just always having this conversation with your doctor. Sadly, there's people who are like, oh, my seizures are controlled. I really don't need to go see my doctor or have this conversation with them. But our body chemistry changes all the time. So you want to have these forward discussions. You want to go regularly. You want to make sure that you're on the right dosage as your body changes. As you grow, and I don't mean like outwardly grow, but as you grow from a young adult. I mean, gosh, being my age, which I'm not going to tell you, but my body is changing. You know, it's changing, and it's different than it was 5 years ago even. So really important to reduce risk by, you know, taking that medication, getting good sleep, reducing those triggers, all those important things, and addressing it with your physician and talking about it, like, and asking your physician, am I at risk? And I'm going to be real honest and frank. I tell people this all the time. If their physician won't talk about it, they need to find a new one.
And so we added into the chat here on Twitch a link if you're looking for a neurologist or an epilepsy specialist. You can use this link on our website to find one in your area.
So that's super important, Sarah, is to find an epileptologist. Many people don't even know what they are. They're like, oh, I'm seeing a neurologist, which there are great neurologists out there. I don't want to discount their practice, but they often are trained in a lot of things with neurology, you know, headaches, a lot of different things versus just epilepsy, where epileptologists actually get a few more years of training just with epilepsy. And that's what they do, is epilepsy all day, every day. So they see all sorts of seizures, they see all sorts of remedies, and that's what they study. That's what they work on every day. So I really encourage, if somebody can get to an epilepsy center and see an epileptologist, that they do that. And more likely than not, an epileptologist is going to have conversations about risk of Sudep. I mean, that's in their wheelhouse.
Right. And we have, okay, good. I was going to say, we have a list of epilepsy centers. SuskiePlays is on top of it. Sarah's on top of it. So in terms of different resources and support that we provide, could you give just kind of an overview of what we do to help support people with Sudep and or, you know, their family members?
Absolutely. Should someone unfortunately lose someone they love from Sudep, and I want to clarify, because the Sudep Institute, it's named Sudep Institute, but we support and educate about all losses from epilepsy. I mean, it's unfortunate. You need to know how to take care of yourself living with epilepsy. And I know so many people want total independence, but you know, we encourage you, if you have epilepsy, not to swim or bathe alone. We don't want any tragedies happening from you being by yourself in a bathtub or in a lake or, you know, in the ocean or in a pool or anything like that. Also driving, making sure you're able to drive, making sure those seizures are controlled. You've had the conversation with your doctor so that you can eliminate accidents, not only for yourself, but for others.
Right.
So while the Sudep Institute, like I said, it's named Sudep, so it's that sudden unexpected death. There's other losses that can occur. And that means we also support those people that have lost, no matter what it is to epilepsy. So the way that we support them is that we do have a bereavement support specialist, and she lost her daughter many years ago, and she works part-time with the Sudep Institute, and she helps people. So sometimes she texts them, sometimes they have phone conversation. I'm sure if you wanted to do a video chat with her, she could do that as well.
Yeah.
And then we have a safe and secure online area where people can go once they've shared with us who they've lost and their relationship with them and things like that. But so we have various avenues. We also offer a family resource guide that can really let families think about, do they want, if they lose someone, do they want to donate their medical records of that person or their tissue samples or even their brain to research, and give them ways to do that. So
right. That's so important.
Yeah. Families in whatever way they need it. You know, one of the things that happened when I first came on board was a family, the husband had known epilepsy. And when he died, the medical examiner did not want to put on the death certificate that it was Sudep, which for statistics, for research, for funding, for everything, we really need to have those accurately reported.
Right.
And the family was like, the medical examiner won't put Sudep. He doesn't think it's a thing. And so I sent all the white papers that were written about it. I sent our family resource guide. I sent all this information to the medical examiner. And after he read it, he determined that, yes, it was Sudep. So that husband was, then now the cause of death. So that helps our statistics, sadly, right? It's not that I want it, but everyone to be labeled Sudep. But if that's the cause of death for research and things like that, we need to know the true number. Right. And so the Sudep Institute does things like that, where we help people with information.
So that we can support the research and get the data that's needed to help other people. Absolutely. I love that. I love that story. That's just also a great way to see how Sally takes it on herself to ensure that this is all done correctly, and her perfectionism, which we are so appreciative of.
Well, I've even gone to where families have called me and they've said, oh, my medical examiner labeled it Sudep. And I've called the medical examiner and said, thank you for giving that closure. But I also want you to know, did you know we offer bereavement support? Because I want to send you my brochures so that if you do get any of these cases, families know where to come to. Right. And they know that they can come to the Epilepsy Foundation Sudep Institute for that bereavement support, and it's free for them.
And it's free. Yes.
So
that's important.
Medical examiners are often like, oh, I knew about Sudep, but I didn't know there was this service. And I said, yeah, it's one thing to give that cause of death and then send them on their way, but it's one to give their cause of death and say, but there's help for you, and there's areas that are trying to research this and end this. So
right. That's so important. I love that. That's really good information. I know it's been in the chat. Yes. And then Liz added some stuff here. Every new parent is told about the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, even though it's rare, but people with epilepsy and their families are never told about Sudep. Sally is helping us change this. Absolutely. That is a great point, Liz. That is a very great point.
I talk about that all the time when I speak up at conferences with physicians and things like that. I just did a talk about 2 months ago where it was all physicians, and they said, well, we're not sure how to talk about it. And I said, but y'all, SIDS, everybody's talking about SIDS. You tell a brand new parent who has a brand new baby who is probably nervous taking this new baby home. Oh, by the way, don't lay the baby on the stomach because SIDS becomes the child becomes more at risk for SIDS, but yet you won't tell someone about their health with epilepsy. So
right.
I kind of put that out there bluntly.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. That's important, to see the comparison. This is no different. It's still high risk, and something that people need to be told about. I think that was it. Okay, we'll pause for a second and try to do some more Broken Picturephone. Can we start over?
We can.
Okay, so because that was a disaster, everyone. I'm really sorry.
Was that like your practice run?
Yeah. And it's hard too when you have two people. Generally, when you have longer like groups of people, it goes through several different rounds, and more people like draw something else that's a little bit funny or ridiculous in the series, and so it becomes just this long series of interesting scribbles or really artistic design. Like my friend group will have, some people who are like stick figures, and then another person who's just getting into the anatomy of the human, the human anatomy. So it's like I don't know how they do this. But
I don't either. Did you see my brain? It looks terrible.
I mean, your brain looks better than a brain I would have tried drawing. So
Sarah, did you know it was a brain?
I did. I knew right away that it was a brain.
I'm so glad I'm not doing this because there's
like ramen.
Like ramen.
Kim said it looked like ramen. Oh my god, it does. The question is if you season it or not. Are you one of those people who will not season it? Some people eat it dry, and you like shake it in the pack.
Wait, people eat ramen dry?
Yes, I remember when I was a kid. Well, okay, so I was a kid like 20 years before you were a kid. It would be like a cool thing as a snack to have this ramen pack and like put the seasoning in it and shake it up, and then you snack on it.
Interesting.
I mean, there's so many different things to use with ramen.
I've seen people paint with ramen, but I've never seen
with ramen.
Yeah, they'll take the ramen, they'll dip it in paint, and they'll do like interesting, designs with the shapes of the ramen.
Right, that's so cool. Maybe that needs to be one of our activities. Sally, do you want to paint with ramen with us? Does that sound fun to you?
Any artsy thing is not. It does not, like some people say. Oh, baking gives them like it's therapeutic, or doing art is therapeutic. None of that
is
therapeutic for me. It like stresses me out because then I realize how awful I am at it.
Preach, sister. I'm with you. I am 100%.
Baking, I'm awful, and art, I'm awful. So my poor children.
Singing, I'm really bad at. I don't really have much going. Wow, I'm really like kicking myself today. I don't know what the deal is. It's Friday, guys.
I'm good at plenty of things, but just not those. So I'm not going to totally kick myself to the curb, but I'm just those things, no. Oh
no, I'm on the curb.
Put me up in front of a group of hundreds of people to speak. Yes, I'll do it.
You do command a room. That's what I have heard. I haven't heard you speak in front of a large audience, but I definitely heard because you have a very powerful story too.
We really haven't touched on that. So when you're done drawing more brains,
yes, we can talk about Sally's story. Yeah, guys, stick around while we draw here to hear Sally's story. It's one that you want to hear. It might make you teary-eyed, but also very important.
No, we won't go there. We won't.
Okay. Hopefully, we're all on edge, with stuff going on this week.
I think that the thing about my job is, when you think about it, you think, oh, it's scary, it's uncomfortable, it's hard, right? Because of the death factor. But I think you have to change the narrative here and look and say, this is about saving lives. This is about saving your life. This is about saving your life, especially if you're living with epilepsy. And not looking at this fear about, wow, okay, she's giving me information. She's empowering me.
I love that. Thank you for correcting me. That is exactly how it should be approached. I totally agree with that. That is 100% the perspective.
Well, I'll tell you a little story after we get into my story, because it all kind of adds up.
Okay. All right, Sarah, you ready to start another game?
Go, Sarah.
All right.
Start it?
Starting a new one.
That was just awful. That was
so
really
this
bad.
time, we're going to write a description and the other person has to draw it.
Is it still the same room code?
Still the same room code.
Okay.
Oh, but it looks like I need to, yep, there you go.
There I am. Okay. So we're drawing something. We're writing something this time.
And the other person has to draw it.
Okay, here we go. This is what I'm ready for, I think. You said to add me to the...
If anyone's watching, you can put in the chat what you want me to write in here so that Monique has to draw it.
Fine. I'll just think of something on my own. Whatever. Okay, I think I have something, so I think I'm ready. It's not showing me to write. Is it? Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it first, and then I do it. So
there should be. We should both be able to do this. Oh, I like that. I like that.
Oh, I can't wait. So yeah, I think it's just like, you on the book right now.
It has me so curious, but I just
But it has me drawing. So
you're gonna draw
something.
Oh, it has you. Wait.
Oh, wait, you just did it. Okay, I see it now. I see it. Okay. I have to do this crazy thing that you just put in there.
Don't blame me. Blame Kim. This was all Kim's idea.
Oh, God. Okay. This is going to be really bad. Oh, wait. Please. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. This is awful. This is awful. Kim, I hate you.
What is
but also, I don't.
Too?
So, Monique has to try to draw a tap dancing banana.
Oh God, it looks like a weird flower. Like David Attenborough would be narrating this right now.
So glad I didn't have to do that.
I don't even know. Like, oh gosh. Okay, and then
Liz says this is easy.
Oh, whatever, Liz. Whatever. Not all of us are artsy like you.
Liz is like a really good drawer, isn't she?
Oh, I'm sure she is.
She says, ha 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 ha.
Hilarious, Liz. Hilarious. Oh God, look at these tap
dancing shoes. She says she's not.
Really bad.
She says she's not.
Oh my God, I'm so bad at this. It's also, I mean, okay, so you should get a handicap because you have to use the computer.
Oh
right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, how do you do that with? Yeah.
Because you're using your mouse to try to draw, which is just not great.
I mean, I'm not good with a pencil, much less a mouse.
No, this is terrible.
There's a lot of erasing and like restarting.
Oh my goodness.
I should show you guys if I can pull it up. What my friends did with the. Oh, good. All right. Let's present.
Thanks.
So we know it was tap dancing bananas. Love it! Love it! That is definitely a tap dancing banana. Absolutely.
Wait, I want to hear who suggested this?
Kim.
Kim, does this look like a tap dancing banana to you, or ramen, or what is it?
Ramen.
Oh, thank you! Success! If you were here for our first stream, you saw me fail at Fall Guys. Look, I made it past this round. So kudos to me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay. I'm good with not drawing. Next time it's going to be me writing something and you're going to draw.
All right.
But Sally, I want to get back to sharing your story on kind of a more serious, but kind of your mission, your drive to support the foundation, what really drives you. So share what you're willing to share. And I think you said you had 2 stories that you wanted to share that are kind of connected.
I do. So my story, without getting too heavy, I came to the Epilepsy Foundation because I'm personally affected by a loss from epilepsy. My daughter was born with special needs, so she had a lot of health challenges, and we kind of overcame all of them. Well, not all of them, but we overcame them during her life. So for instance, she didn't sit up until she was almost 1.5 years old. That usually happens about 6 months of age.
Right.
And she didn't walk until she was 5. But I say it with a smile because it was such a gift to see her walk for the first time, even at 5 years old. So we kept trudging along with all of her health challenges, tackling them and moving forward. She had her first seizure at 1.5, and then she had more at 3. And at 3, we put her on medication, and it seemed to control it. But then at 6, her seizures changed. They morphed into something different. And she ended up having severe seizures, and seizures that actually happened in her sleep. We couldn't see them, but they were happening. And the way that we knew that was because she had had a really bad seizure during the day. So we tried a bunch of different medications. I actually fought for an alternative treatment for her because we ran out of pharmaceutical medications. And unfortunately, on Mother's Day, my daughter passed away. She didn't wake up, and so she did pass from Sudep. But I was an advocate for her from day one. So from the time that I found out she had a rare chromosome abnormality, which left her with all these special needs, to the time, I mean, she went to school. Every time she was in the hospital, I was her voice and her advocate. And so I knew, and then I fought for this therapeutic treatment for her too, which became a law in Wisconsin. So
it did?
Yeah, it did.
Wow.
It's called Lydia's Law. And so after she passed away, I was kind of sitting idle, and I worked in corporate America, and I was like, I'm not done here. I need to help people. That was what motivated me, and that was very fulfilling for me, and it was a huge drive for me. And to be honest, one night I was just on LinkedIn, and I typed in epilepsy and LinkedIn jobs, and up came the Sudep Institute director, and it was 10:30 at night. I looked at my husband, and I'm like, this is it. This was totally written for me. Look, it like practically has my name on it. And he's like, that's great, honey, but you need to go to bed. It's late. And I was like, okay. So the next morning I got started in the process. And I was a nationwide search for this position. And I ended up, obviously there was 2 final candidates, and I ended up here. So
here you are.
I pretty much took my tragedy and my loss to help other people, because I don't want them to be in my shoes. I don't want them to feel the loss that I have of my amazing daughter, the best teacher I've ever had in the world. So I'm here to save lives. I am here to make a difference for others and be their voice, because some people can't be that voice, right? Some people just don't have that capacity or the bandwidth to do it. So I want to do it. I want to, I'm here to make that difference. And I believe over the 3 years I have made such a difference. I've met so many families, whether they're living with epilepsy, they have lost, that, they are joining forces with me to make a difference and be that voice. So that's where I come in, and this is why I'm here. So, and not to say it's not hard some days, but definitely rewarding in so many others. And I don't think my daughter would want me anywhere else but helping others, making a difference to educate. I think education is so important. And so whatever, I think she's led me to where I go, I definitely my guide.
I love how you said she was your greatest teacher.
Oh, she's my greatest teacher.
I really love that.
My daughter never uttered a word in her 7 years on this earth. And it's a fine art to understand someone who doesn't speak, through their eyes, through their motions. But even beyond that, they teach you what's important in life. And so my daughter didn't have a care in the world. She had mental disabilities, so she operated about the age of a 1-year-old. And here you see this girl growing, but mentally she's still in this capacity of like a baby. And she didn't have a care in the world, right? She didn't have hate. She didn't have, she just was a happy girl unless she wasn't feeling well. But she was just kind of oblivious to what was going around her. And I don't say that in a negative way. But she made sure, and how do I explain this? So I could be having a really bad day at work or just with life, and I would go and feed her dinner, because I had to take care of all of her daily needs, like feeding, bathing, changing, everything. Right. And I would go and feed her, and she would just give me this really big smile and laugh. And I realized that none of that mattered. And so she gave me perspective. I'm a type A individual. And so, you know what, if it was on my calendar that I had to go somewhere, I had to be there. It was on my calendar. But with special needs, you never know the curveball that life throws you. And I think people living with epilepsy know that too. Like, you could have a seizure, and gosh, you can't go to that party you planned on. And I learned a lot about myself and about life and from her. So she was like this awesome, awesome teacher. And I think what I miss most about her, and I don't mean to get emotional, I'm going to try not to.
You're okay.
But I miss those lessons. And when I lose my way, when I lose my perspective, I think back to her. And I think back to what she taught me. And I say this to my husband all the time, like, don't let what she taught us slip away from us, because she taught us so much, and we need to keep that within us all the time. We can't get angry. We can't try to control things, because we lived a life where we had no control, and it was teaching us. We couldn't control anything. We had to let it happen, and we just had to be her advocate. So that's my lesson. That was my lesson, and it's what I learned from her. She was an awesome teacher. She never said a word, but she taught myself and so many around us some wonderful lessons about life. And I wish everyone could have met her to have learned those.
I love that. I wish I could have met her too. Learn that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
phenomenal.
special.
And the story I want to tell you about my role, and I know like this is a heavy topic and hard, but I guess when you look at it in an inspiring way of like, no, it's here to help save lives. A woman called me 2 summers ago, and she said, actually it was last summer, 2019, and she had emailed me that her son had the same type of epilepsy my daughter did. And she's like, could he die? And I kind of like froze. I'm like, oh my God, it's the same epilepsy, and it's a really, really rare epilepsy.
Mm.
So I asked her a bunch of questions via email, and then I said, hey, can we talk? And she called, and I walked her through some things, suggested an epileptologist. She wasn't seeing one, didn't even know about one, wasn't going to an epilepsy center. I mean, it was just all these things that she learned. And so finally I told her, I said, listen, my daughter had the same seizure disorder. And I'm nervous to tell you, but I want to be honest with you. You could Google my name and you could see. And I said, I want to be upfront with you. But I said, not every person that has this seizure disorder dies. Not every person that has that XYZ seizure disorder dies. So I said, but I want to be honest. I want to be transparent. And so we talked over the phone. I educated her. I gave her all, epileptologist, things like that. And at the end of the call, I said to her, all right, how are you feeling with all this information? How are you feeling? And this is the best call that I'll ever remember in probably since I've been here. She said, I feel empowered. I didn't give her that word, but she said it. She goes, I feel empowered. You're the first person that's been honest with me. You're the first person that's just given me all this information. She goes, I feel empowered because I know more. And now I can go to his doctor. I can ask these questions. And if not, find a doctor that will help me. And it was like the skies opened up and there was music.
Yeah.
I felt like all these great things because I was like, oh, because it was so heavy, right? I mean, I'm telling you, my daughter had the same thing. She passed away. I mean, that felt heavy for me to relay, but I had to do it. But she felt, I mean, the joy in her voice. I mean, hear this heavy topic, but the joy she felt because she had more information than she ever had before. It felt great.
This is what you said your purpose was. It just kind of all happened. And I love that. I love that you've dedicated your career and even your personal life. Let's be honest. This is very much transcending all of your boundaries to helping this cause and other people with it. And I hope everybody watching is realizing this too. Like the Epilepsy Foundation, we try to help with all types of epilepsy, but also helping with support if you lose someone from epilepsy. We want to be there. We want to be the person and the organization you rely on for all things. And
I think it's hard, right? Because you think of foundations, you think of not charities, but foundations and nonprofits, right? And I don't think many people think that the people sitting in the seats have this deep, hardcore passion for working here and helping people. Like that's why our butts are in these seats, is because all of us have this passion, and some of us deeply affected by it. Not just
personally or knowing someone. Yeah, absolutely.
Our foundation, most everybody is some way connected or affected.
Right.
And I think that's important for people to know too.
And has benefited from the resources that we provide, probably on some level personally. I know I have. So I also wanted to talk about some of the positive things that have come from this. Maybe if you could talk more about different research initiatives. I know Sarah mentioned the Biomarker Challenge, some other things that we've been doing to really help and support the Sudep community, and also the science and research around Sudep.
Well, absolutely. One of my goals is to end Sudep, so I'm out of a job. So you want to make we want to make sure we support that. So about 3 to 5 years ago, about 5 years ago, we came up with what was called the Biomarker Challenge, and there was many milestones along the way. But the big challenge is to find a predictive, validated biomarker that can help prevent Sudep from happening. It may not be the biomarker may not be something that stops Sudep, like that says, oh, this is what causes it. It may, but it may not be, but it may help prevent it. So let me give you an example, kind of like breast cancer, right? There's a gene that women can find out that they have, and they can make decisions about themselves and their body depending on if they have that gene, like if they're the carrier. So that's kind of like a biomarker, right? It's called the BRCA gene. So when you get tested and you say, oh, you have the BRCA gene, women can decide, okay, am I going to have a double mastectomy, so that my chances of, wildly decrease. So that's kind of a similar, it's like the biomarker. So that's what we're looking for. And our challenge just ended October 10th. And we have some solutions that we're sitting with our professional reviewers, physicians in this space, and they're looking at these solutions. So I'm excited for what the end of the year holds to see where we are. We're going to be awarding $800,000 to the winner if we can get a valid predictive biomarker. So that is exciting.
That's huge.
The other thing that's happened within the Sudep Institute is when I was interviewing for this job, I had this idea of bringing, there was actually funding for Sudep with the National Institutes of Health. For 5 years, they had this really big coalition of people, and it was funded by the National Institutes of Health. And that funding ended in 2019. So when I was interviewing and I knew that, I thought about, okay, when that funding ends, how do we keep these people talking? How do we bring them together? So we initiated with the Sudep Institute and the Epilepsy Foundation is this Sudep Coalition Summit. And over the course of 2020, we had groups meeting to talk about epidemiology and public health issues with Sudep, to talk about awareness and behavioral issues with Sudep, clinical science, basic science. And we're coming up with this 5-year action plan to help end Sudep. So that is something the Sudep Institute has done. And now we're asking for people that were involved in the coalition to take this and run with this and these initiatives. Right. So that's also something we've been part of and really driving.
And so, really, this has all been done since you've been here. I want to highlight that, right? In 3 years, you've been a big part of that.
This was here before I got here. That was initiated before I got here. But yes, the Coalition Summit and now the decision of the biomarker just came to be that while I'm here, that yes, October 10th was a deadline. So
take my compliment.
I would give credit where credit's due. Like,
oh, for sure. It takes a village, right?
Absolutely. Like the Coalition Summit, I can't say I pulled that off on my own. We had individuals within Epilepsy Foundation that were very critical in helping launch that. And so I can't take credit, but I think great minds come together and do good things for people. So
yeah, I really think like what I've learned with just doing the stream for epilepsy, and I think Sarah would agree, is that the epilepsy community, not only from like an organizational perspective, but in a community perspective, is very tight knit. Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where you might not know about it until you're affected. And then you really just band together with all of those people. I mean, I've been already so impressed with some of our ambassadors that work with us on our Stream for Epilepsy program, Sally. Like they are so involved and want to help in every single way, just with like our streaming pieces, and to talk about their experiences, being on a ketogenic diet. I mean, all of them are chatting with each other, trying to also build each other up so that they're not, you know, struggling with their epilepsy. And if they have a bad day, like, these are the people that they can rely on. So, and I want to say that because in our chat, Floricida91, she said, I agree. And as a survivor, I thank you for your work and for the passion put into all that you do. It saved my life 9 years ago, and it continues to do so today.
Wow.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. You know, I've always said, if I could save one person in this job, that is enough for me.
Absolutely.
There was a woman who lost her daughter and didn't feel life was worth living. And she contacted us, and through our grief support, she was able to realize that life really was worth living. And she had a new mission of educating others now about it. That was enough for me. That is enough for me, because saving lives is what ultimately is the goal.
It is the goal. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. You always can lean back on that when you're having a tough day, or, you know, you're dealing with a million different things at once, because as I've said before, the Epilepsy Foundation is small but mighty. But we also have days where, you know, what hits the fan, right? We all have to deal with that. So that's definitely something I think Sarah and I agree with you. Like, that's something we rest our laurels on, that we can
it's a heavy topic, right? It's a heavy.
It really is.
And I would think, okay, so this is just me talking, but I think most of us here are empaths. And so when people tell us about their struggles, and they are telling us about our struggles, and they're telling how they're managing life or not managing life or what they're worried about, we take that on. I mean, when somebody loses someone they love and they call me, seriously, it's heavy. It's heavy. And I feel their pain. I've been there. I know. And you know, it's hard. It's hard. I want to fix it. I want to fix this now. I mean, that's why for the last 2 years before COVID hit, I was on the road 50%, because I felt like I was on this big sprint to solve this problem, and I want to do it now. And yeah, I think all of us are like that. Everyone that I work with here is very much takes on this in such a heavy way.
I would totally agree with that.
And I love that we have this here, you know, in the US. It's interesting because I've been thinking about it since I started here at the foundation as well. One of my cousins back in Iran, my family's from Iran, had epilepsy, and he unfortunately passed away from a seizure that was unexplained.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And you know, my family had no idea what Sudep was. They didn't really understand epilepsy either. And in Iran, I mean, here as well, but in Iran, it's very stigmatized. And so, you know, it's incredible that we have these strides happening here in the US, and I wish that we had them in Iran as well, because, you know, if we had, maybe the outcome would have been different for my cousin, maybe not, but we could have tried, you know. Could have tried different.
That's a great point. We're lucky that we have the resources too. Now we can.
I think it's a great point that it's a worldwide issue. This isn't just something that's happening in the U.S. I mean, it's a worldwide issue. On my Facebook page, Sudep Institute / Epilepsy Foundation, I actually posted a video of I interviewed the executive director of Sudep Action out of the UK, and then a young woman from Africa who, you know, even in Africa, knowing about epilepsy and how to treat epilepsy is very rare. You know, they thought you were possessed by having epilepsy. So even the stigma is so different everywhere.
Right. There are different layers of acceptance and acknowledgement and education. It makes it even that much more complicated in trying to serve everyone. So seriously, Sally, we haven't even really played the game because I feel like I could just talk to you forever. So I apologize if you guys came here for us drawing really dumb pictures. But by saying us, I mean me, because everybody knows that I'm the one that's terrible at drawing here.
I mean, you saw my flame. It was not good.
So I apologize, but I guess it does say just chatting, so we're being fair. We're being fair.
If you guys want to draw some more, it's fine.
Oh no, I think we have 3 minutes left, and so I just wanted to give you an opportunity. If there's anything that you want to highlight or talk about more with Sudep, with our community, we have been directing them to resources and stuff in the chat. Especially we put in the Facebook page. So is there anything else that you'd want to just note as kind of a wrap up? Oh, and Sarah's going to put up the Sudep website right now too.
Oh, thanks. You know what I think is important too, we didn't really touch on, and it is part of Sudep, but not part of Sudep, or not part of Sudep, but it is seizure safety. Is if you are someone that is coming to this game and you don't have epilepsy or affected by epilepsy, maybe a friend is, it's knowing about epilepsy, how to help them if they're having a seizure. You know, we have seizure safety training. There's all of that to know about, because if you can help them, you know, during that seizure in the best way possible, you could help reduce their risk. So I think that's what's so important is having that seizure safety for, if you are here and there is somebody living with epilepsy, have your caregivers know about seizure safety, have them know about Sudep, have them be aware of your seizure response plan and all of that documentation of who to reach when and how to help. You know, it's hard. I hate asking for help. I am a very independent woman, but especially with this disease, a village is, and I wouldn't be standing right now in front of you talking if I didn't have a village, and at some point didn't reach out to say, I need help to support me in this loss. And so I think even people living with epilepsy, ask for help. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong and you want to have your best life. That's the other thing I want to close with is, this is a really scary, heavy topic, but what I want to share with people is continue living your best life. When I talk to families that have lost someone they love, they talk about them up until their passing. And I always say, wow, it sounds like they lived their best life. They didn't live in fear. They didn't stop doing what was important to them and what they enjoyed. And that's what's important. And people always go, you're right. They didn't. They did live their best life. Cameron Boyce, for instance, you know, I've met and worked with his parents, and he was one that didn't want to let epilepsy define him. And certainly, you know, them not knowing about Sudep, but he lived his best life. He did what made him happy, dancing, acting, etc. So that is my takeaway for people here, is to live your best life. Have these discussions, be empowered with information. We have a flyer out there. It's called Knowledge is Power. It has all the questions. You can take it to your physician and start asking those questions. So live your best life, have knowledge. That power will help you live that best life, because you're going to know what you can do to reduce your risks.
Right, right. That's so important. Yes. So we just put the flyer in there. If anybody watching has questions, definitely take a peek at our website, but you can of course reach out to us, reach out to Sally. Their contact information is on the website. We also would be happy to direct you via our email, so you can contact us directly, or if you're a part of our Discord channel, feel free to, I'm going to put the command in there, feel free to email us and we can have you be a part of our Discord channel, and we can talk more about Sudep there as well. Take it offline. Sally, we'll have to invite you to our Discord too, so people have questions about Sudep. You can jump in as well.
Sure.
Potentially. So again, thank you so much for being here. We are so grateful. I also want to apologize to Sarah, because I think I've monopolized this conversation.
No, but you're good. And right outside, my next door neighbor is doing some maintenance, so I don't know if you can hear the banging out there. I was trying to mute myself so you couldn't hear it.
So that worked out well. But this is just such a great conversation. Again, I feel like we could talk for much longer.
We could, just because I am so passionate about it, and
that comes across.
Yeah. I you know, saving lives is important. And like I said, my daughter definitely led me on this path. So educating and helping others. So I hope it helps somebody that's sitting here, either that or they enjoyed your pictures you drew.
I could say that they probably enjoyed the former, not the latter. Again, thank everybody for coming here today. We have another stream set up on Monday, November 9th, next Monday, at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking with Abby from our advocacy team about all things advocacy. Obviously, Sudep is a big piece of that too. It all interconnects. All this is very important. We want to make sure our community, epilepsy, whatever kind of epilepsy or seizures that you deal with, that you are represented, that you have the support you need, your healthcare, what have you. So we're going to be talking about all things advocacy on Monday. So feel free to join us then. But again, if you have any questions, let us know. And let's give it up for Sally. Thank you.
Thanks, Sally.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for asking me to do this. I'm honored and pleased, and I really appreciate you helping spread this message and this education and knowledge. So
absolutely. Thank you for being a good sport as well on our new platform.
Thank you for not making me drunk.
You're welcome. Next time though, we'll have to figure out, we're going to play a game.
Next time yes. I'll play along.
Okay, good.
I'm good.
Perfect. Well, thank you everybody. And I think then we're going to wrap this up.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Thank you.